Welcome to PJNet Live. We are in Studio 5. Behind us, the swamps of Lake Miccosukee, right here in Jefferson County, Florida, where I grew up. And folks, you're in for a real treat tonight. Now, remember, we've got Michelle Medlock-Adams coming on a little bit later toward the bottom of the hour. Glad to see you folks here. And you're here because you want to see and you want to hear a wonderful story of a person who I encountered at the North Carolina Christian Writers Conference. And that would be Dreama, Archibald. And Dreama, come on in the studio here. Have a seat right here next to me. And welcome to PJNet Live. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad. Hey, I had fun speaking with you this morning, and I've kind of read through your bio, found it rather intriguing in many ways, because most of the people we come here are kind of like the aspiring writer who's written a manuscript, maybe two, and they're hoping to get them published. But you, on the other hand, have written like 30 books.
Children's books, yes.
Okay, you just do that for a hobby?
Well, hopefully it's going to turn into, my goal, of course, is to get them in the hands of children. So I'm just looking. I have an agent, and so we're just shopping them around and just see what happens.
Now, I talk to a lot of different people, and many of them say that I've always loved to write, been writing since I was in the what grade? What's your story?
I've been writing since I was in third grade, and that's when I wrote my first poem, and from there I kept writing, and I've just kind of gone from the third grade, and then I went on, and in my teen years I was still writing, but that was more probably from 12 to maybe 16, something like that. That was my kind of dark age where I was writing much darker and darker things, not children's, and I wasn't writing for the Lord, but God changes people, and I rededicated my life after my first child was born in about 25, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing things for the Lord and writing short stories and poetry then, and lyrics to songs, things like that. But it definitely changed when you have your first baby.
So writing just comes natural for you. It's not, I mean, you literally just do that when you have downtime, or?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I mean, I'll be driving down the road and something will pop into my head, or a certain word or something, and I'll put it in my notes on my phone. And then I'll go back to it, and I'll put it into a story.
Okay. Now, what I was fascinated by, and I did not know this at all, you are directing a puppet ministry of some kind. Tell us about that.
Yes. Probably 20 years I've been a puppet director, and a couple of different churches, but I'm at Crossroad Baptist Church now, and I've been there for, I don't know, 15 years, 15 to 20 years anyway, and we've had up to 16 puppeteers. We have 10 to 12 right now. They kind of come and go. Sometimes they go off to college or they get married, which has happened several. And so right now we have 10 to 12, not including me, and their ages from 9 to 32.
30-something.
31.
Yeah.
32, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course myself, and I'm older than that.
No.
But yeah, but we have a really good time. They practice a lot. A lot of them have been there almost the entire time. My two girls have been there for probably going on 20 years, since they were little bitty. And then we have several other family members that are puppeteers from one family that have been there about the same amount of time. So they have, once they joined the team, that was it. They're on it. They're married.
Hmm.
Um, like Winter, my daughter is and Jetta when she can from work. They are both still puppeteers. They're extremely good. We're not professionals, but we just have fun doing it. We make our own props. We do our own choreography. We do lots of music.
Hmm.
So we do, and I write the scripts. I'm
I
the
was going to
main
ask. Let
puppet.
me guess who wrote the script.
Yeah, I've been writing them for 20 years. And each show is different, um, geared toward whatever group we're performing for.
And
So,
what's a typical performance like? I mean, is this a ministry, and how do you?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is our ministry, our church ministry, as well as just each individual's ministry. Um, our puppet team is called Giving God a Hand, and and um, and we go to a lot of the retirement and
Oh,
assisted living and nursing homes, and we do like quartet music, and it's all upbeat. It's usually got some kind of twist in it, and they like to move. They don't want any slow, boring music. They want it lively, and we give it to them. Lots of quartet music. We love to laugh, anything funny. And Miss Moody, who is my puppet, she introduces all the songs and gives the puppeteers time to get their puppets changed and the props, up and all that. And Miss Moody's ridiculous, who is me, and I'm ridiculous. And she's corny jokes and the whole thing. Sometimes she'll have to talk for a minute or two between songs. And we do like 12 songs is generally what we do
12
per
songs.
show.
At,
Per
at,
show,
okay, so you're looking at, I mean, a
45
song.
to an hour.
That's what I was going to say. A song being about
Mhm.
3+ minutes usually.
Yeah, we
Um,
try not to go too far over 3 minutes. We do, but we try not to because that's a long time for. I mean, these puppets aren't just standing up there moving. I mean, they're going all over the stage. So it's yeah, it's more fun to watch it from the back than it is in the front.
it's like watching a swan on a lake. You know, it looks very
Uh,
peaceful from up top, but when you go down below and look up, it's
oh
actually kind of
yes,
busy, isn't it?
oh yes, we have a good time though. We have a really good time, and we have some new ones that are just coming in, and they're just so amazed and everything. So they're watching all the puppets, and I tell them, I say, you better watch because you're going to have to do that one day.
Remind me again how many characters are involved in these plays.
Mm. Well, the songs, I mean, it can be anywhere from two puppets to 20. I mean,
Really?
it just depends on the song. Because if all of our puppeteers get two puppets each and they are all in the same song, then yeah, that can be quite a few.
Now I'm trying to visualize how big this performing stage is. I mean, you've
Yeah,
got to have a.
our stage is 12 by 12, 12 foot by 12 foot. And it's got a pit. Well, we call it the pit, and it's the little thing that comes out, in the front.
Okay. Oh yeah,
And
like the
then they're on
orchestra
their
pit.
knees if they're in the pit. But if they're in the back, then they're up above it, you know.
So
So
you've
you've
got
got two levels.
okay. So you got 12 feet, and
Hmm.
I'm in a room that's 12 feet wide, and I'm envisioning like 20 people crowded here. Y'all do take showers and use deodorant, right?
Absolutely. That's a must.
And you're in there for an hour, you know, and you're getting all hot and
Hmm.
sweaty.
Well, it's half hour setup. So,
So
um, yeah, half hour setup. And then we do it for 45 minutes to an hour. By the time Miss Moody has to do all her stuff, it's close to an hour. So I refer to her in third person.
she's just one of the many voices in your head, right? It's just
Yeah, that's right. Most people know me from my puppet.
oh yeah,
They'll look at me and they'll say, "Are you Miss Moody?" Or they'll hear me laugh because I can't disguise my voice. I've
okay.
tried, and it just always ends up to be my voice. So they all know me by my puppet, Miss Moody.
So how long have you been doing this?
Like I say, about 20 years.
20 years. Now,
Hmm.
how many performances per year are we talking about?
Ooh, how many performances
All
per
right. How
year?
about per month?
Um,
Let me make it a smaller number.
yeah, okay,
Easier
yeah.
to do the math.
Anywhere from 2 to 4 shows a month.
You guys are busy. Do you charge?
Yeah.
How much
No,
does it
no,
cost to
it's
book you guys?
it doesn't. No, we're it's our ministry. Now, sometimes we'll get a
Like a love offering or
yeah,
something?
love offering. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Or,
Yeah.
or maybe an
But
honorarium of some kind?
yeah, we don't turn it down because we just
Okay.
don't, but we certainly don't ask, But our church does support us
Good.
with some money, but puppet, if it's a person puppet
Uh-huh.
or a large animal puppet, costs anywhere from $200 to $300.
You're kidding.
No.
And you've
And
got
so
dozens
they're
of them.
oh yeah. We probably, I don't know, hundreds,
Really.
but this is 20 years. Some of
Now,
them are my personal ones, and most of them are the churches.
the puppets don't show age. They don't get gray hair.
They do show age, but
More like
and
wear and
Miss
tear.
Moody's already got gray hair. She's an
So,
old lady pup.
did you like go to your church pastor and say, "I've got this idea"? I mean, how did the church get involved?
Well, a lot of churches do have puppet teams, but they're
Really?
usually the teeny weeny little kids, the little bitty ones, which is
Uh-huh.
that's great too. But I was in a church before this to where we just had two puppeteers and my kids, and they had like four puppets, and we would go around and just mainly just in the church, for Bible school and stuff like that. But then I really wanted to go bigger, and so I got my own set of puppets um, one year because I didn't think it was creepy. I love my puppets, and so I got those, and my mother actually was alive then, and so my mother and my children would go around to um, the nursing homes and just play our little music on our little CD. Well, no, it was a tape player.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yes. And we would just do it there. And then when I got to Crossroad, they did have a small team, but nobody was really running it.
Uh-huh.
Um, well, they were sort of running it. A friend of mine she has a lot of children, and all her children and her were kind of running it. And so I just jumped in there with them. I said, "Hey, you need some help?" And of course, yes. So we jumped in there, and we got a name, and giving God a hand, and more people would join, and so we had up to 16 at one point, and some older ones, and the young ones as well. We didn't everybody has to be able to read and follow directions and choreography. But other than that, they're game.
Do y'all travel?
Yeah, we travel. Well, we travel in this area, driving distance. We go to several towns around. Um, I don't know what the mileage would be.
I mean, there's a
We've
bunch of
been,
you. What do you do? Take a bus, a van, or just drive your
no, we
cars?
just all meet there. Well, like I say, there's five of the team is from one family, so they take theirs, and and then I had me and my two daughters are three, and then we just have, and sometimes we'll carpool and things like that if we're going more than an hour, but most of the time we're riding around anywhere from just right around this
Mm-hmm.
immediate area because there are lots of homes and things like that we like the retirement homes. And but we go on mission trips, and it's been a while since we've done that, but we've been as far as Florida, not Florida, Hawaii. No, that's not it either. It was Hawaii. Where'd we go? Anyway,
Long way.
Alaska. That's it. I'm going backwards.
You're,
Yeah, yeah,
you're, yeah,
yeah,
you're circumscribing the globe
yeah.
here.
I've been to those places, but no, we took the puppets to Alaska, not Hawaii. And but yeah, we've been kind of all over.
So you have like a trailer. This stuff's pretty bulky, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I have a large trailer that we can only put what we need in it. It's still a good sized trailer, but we got a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And so, we kind of change things out when we need to, especially if I'm doing Christmas stuff. We have to change everything over to the Christmas, and we make our own props, um, things like that, which we try to use as many props as possible because it just gives it color and interest. And we also do black light shows. Um, but we can only do those at specific times, specific places because it has to be dark.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Real
so we're
dark.
going to be putting a couple up on YouTube in the next little bit.
Okay.
So that we just did.
It must be very satisfying, to go to a group of people like, a retirement
Oh,
home where people are just lonely and just not interacting with any, it must be
yeah.
very satisfying. What's some of the
It,
higher moments you've had out there?
oh my goodness. I can't even. These people absolutely love it. And whenever we leave, they always want to know when we're coming back. How soon can you come back? And these people are in wheelchairs. They're on breathing, treatments, and
Hmm.
they're well, some of them, and some of them can be up and dancing, and uh, but they'll always be so appreciative that the kids, of course, they love the kids, that came to work, and they'll after the show is over I try to encourage the kids. I mean, this part of it, go out there and talk to them,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
hold their hand, give
Hmm.
them a hug, whatever they want us to do, and most will do it. We have a few shy ones, and but most will go out there and do it, and they just love it. We've had people crying. I mean, we had a man. We did a song called Jesus Loves Cowboys. And for some reason he knew that song
Hmm.
and he just cried. He said, "Wow." He said, "Your music is so good, the things that we pick out." And it's fun music.
Hmm.
I get it from actually it's from the puppet place where I get my puppets. They also have music to choose from and we've got 100 CDs that I can choose from. And I choose all the songs and that kind of thing. And we do modern songs when we do it for our church, like songs that are on K Love and things like that.
So you're also kind of a writers conference junkie.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I discovered those, gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I was actually on a mission trip in Black Mountain working with prison ministry with my husband and my two girls when they were younger. And they kind of grew up doing that. And I was in a church that was providing a meal for us, and I saw a flyer, their little desk right there in the front of their church, and it was for a writers conference. And I thought, well, I can write. And it was in 2 days. Usually you do
Uh huh.
these a couple of months in
Hmm.
advance at least.
Right.
But I just decided to go. I'm not but 3 hours from it. So I went. And from there I was hooked. I met Michelle there for the first time, Michelle Medlock Adams. And she's such an inspiration. And that's when God told me that I needed to start writing children's books. Hadn't really written a lot of children's books. I read a lot of things, but not necessarily children's books. But it was just like he just told me, "You are writing children's books now for real, not just playing." And that's where it started. That's when I started doing the children's thing.
I see that you've kind of been on a track for what, 20 years doing this just faithfully.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're, I'm getting what I call in the fourth quarter, and I'm starting to think to myself, I want to finish strong. You know,
Mhm.
where do you see yourself going in a different or bigger? Do you see a future that's any different than the past, or are you just going to keep doing what you're doing?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, well, I like writing so much. that it's just something that I do because I like to do it. Hopefully something will happen with it, and hopefully the children will get to read some of my books, but I would also like to branch out maybe into the YA, the young adult, that kind of thing, because as you get older, you have life experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been where they are, and I can maybe help somebody not make all the mistakes that I did, you know, and do it in a way that would be interesting to them,
Okay.
and that they can actually learn and take it to heart. Whether they do or not, it's up to them. But it'll also plant that seed to where they might, somewhere in the back of their mind, they might remember, hey, you know, so and so did that, and this happened, or the other way around. Just to encourage them to go in the right direction and not to have to go through all that, you know.
I feel your pain. And even though, when we're out of time, I know, but I do know what you're talking about, because I do reach out to younger generations, and the fact is, the reality is that it seems like they don't want to absorb a lot of what we're telling them. But my goal
Of
is for
course.
them
Yeah.
10 years from now to pause and think, Coach Prasick was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I may not be here at that time. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, but it keeps us going. Oh, well, we're out of time. I love your story, Dreama. Thank you
Thank you.
for sharing, folks. It's you just keep doing what you're doing, and your daughter Winter is our next. Folks, go ahead and get to know Winter. She's in our chat room because I am chasing her down. Okay, we are going to hear from Winter somehow, some way. Dreama, thanks for coming on board tonight and sharing with us, and thank you for your ministry to others. It's a real
Thank you for
inspiration.
having me.
All right, we enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Winter. Not Winter. Winter's coming. It's fall. Winter's next. Okay, I'm telling you. Michelle Medlock Adams will be with us momentarily. That was fun. This is where you find all the interesting people, folks. PJNet Live. Okay, this is it. I love doing this, and I love that you're a part of it. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hey, Rachel's here, and Winter is here. Sunbelt Girl, Hazards, and we've got some people up in the balcony, high up there, who are not logged in, but they are watching. Hey, good to have y'all. Hey, listen, PJNet Live, Part 2. We'll continue with Michelle Medlock Adams in about 10 minutes, so enjoy a few videos. We'll be back live very shortly here on PJNet Live.